there's a nice Thai restaurant out there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is what espionage looks like. The man driving the car is Gregg Bergersen. He's a civilian analyst at the Pentagon with one of the nation's highest security clearances. His companion is Tai Shen Kuo, a spy for the People's Republic of China. This is Kuo in an FBI surveillance photo. He was born in Taiwan, but he's a naturalized American citizen who owns a number of businesses in Louisiana. And this is Bergersen, who worked at the Pentagon's Defense Security Cooperation Agency, which manages weapons sales to U.S. allies. Bergersen knew a secret that the Chinese desperately wanted to know. What kind of weapons was America planning to sell to Taiwan, the rebellious Chinese island that mainland China wants to reclaim? It's July 2007. They're driving outside Washington, and neither man knows that what they're about to do is being recorded by two cameras the FBI has concealed in their car.
You sure that that's okay? Yeah. You sure?
We watched the tape with John Slattery, the FBI agent at headquarters who oversaw the case. He recently retired as a deputy assistant director.
What's happening there?
Information has been passed prior, and this is reward for that, or there is expectation that passage of information is forthcoming. So that's what's happening right here.
How much money is he holding in his hand?
I think we're probably looking at about $2,000, thereabouts.
Tai Shen Kuo's money and contacts came to the FBI's attention while the Bureau was investigating a different Chinese espionage case. They followed him, tapped his phone, watched his email, and all of that led to Bergersen. In the car, the Pentagon employee and Chinese spy were plotting the handover of secret documents that listed future weapons sales to Taiwan and details of a Taiwanese military communication system.
I'm very reticent to let you have it because it's all classified. But I will let you see it, and you can take all the notes you want, which I think you can do today. But if it ever fell into the wrong hands, I know it's not going to, but if it ever was, then I would be fired for sure. I'd go to jail because I violated all the rules.
He just described them as classified documents.
Exactly.
He knows precisely what he's doing.
Exactly.
He's almost going down your list of requirements for an indictment by a grand jury.
And we thank him for that.
The FBI says that Kuo wanted to expand his Louisiana businesses into China, and when he sought permission from Beijing, the Chinese asked for a few favors for their intelligence service. The $2,000 was only part of Kuo's development of Bergersen. Kuo wined and dined his spy, and Bergersen seemed to have an appetite for espionage. At one dinner, Kuo's tab came to $710. Kuo took Bergersen to Las Vegas for some shows, and the day of the ride, Kuo brought a box of expensive cigars. All the while, Kuo lied to Bergersen, telling him that the information was being passed to Taiwan, the U.S. ally.
Does that make any difference in the law, whether you're spying for a hostile government or a friendly one?
Of course not. Classified information is not allowed to be passed without, certain approvals to any foreign government.
But I think when you see the information, you can get out of it what you need. You can you can take all the notes you want. It's just I cannot ever let anyone know. Because that's my job, man. I get fired for sure on that. Well, not even get fired, I'll go to jail.
The recruitment of Bergersen has a familiar ring to Fengji Li. Li recruited spies for China as an officer in the Ministry of State Security. The MSS is their CIA.
Give me a sense of all the different ways you would persuade someone to spy for China.
That should be a long story.
I've got time.
Okay.
In our interview, Li switched between English and Mandarin. He worked for Chinese intelligence 14 years, recruiting spies in Russia. He's now seeking political asylum in the U.S.
Let me say this. Intelligence work is different from other kind of work. When I target 100 people, even if 99 people have refused me, if there is one I persuade,
that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Lee told us that he recruited spies through blackmail and sometimes greed, especially if someone wanted to do business in China. Once, he says, his agents recruited the official photographer for a European head of state that he still won't name.
Would you say the MSS spends most of its effort on the United States?
definitely, without a doubt.
What would some examples be of the kind of information that MSS was interested in getting a hold of?
For example, what the President Obama thinks right now.
They want to know what President Obama thinks.
Yes.
If you make me part of the owner.
Thanks to Gregg Bergersen, the Chinese were about to find out just what sort of weapons America intended to sell to Taiwan. The day of that car ride, Bergersen drove Kuo and the secret documents to a restaurant outside Washington, D.C. Inside the restaurant, Kuo copied the secrets by hand.
Out in the parking lot, Bergersen waited with a glass of wine, one of those cigars, and the FBI in tow. As they left, Bergersen just couldn't stop talking.
But I will be very careful to keep my tracks, of course, clean and no fingerprints. Just like these documents, no fingerprints. I can't afford to lose my job.
Later, Kuo left the U.S. for Beijing, but while he waited for his flight, federal agents got into his bags, photocopied his handwritten notes, and put them back. Kuo's notes matched the secret document on the right. But John Slattery, who oversaw the case for the FBI, told us the Bureau didn't make arrests until 6 months later.
But I mean, this is drop-dead evidence. And espionage is occurring. Why didn't you arrest them sooner than that?
Well, these investigations are tremendously complex and tremendously difficult to begin with.
The Department of Defense wants you to stop it right away.
Please, sooner than later. But the FBI says, listen, we want to make sure we can sustain a conviction here, and are there other players in this?
Turns out there were other players. Kuo had another source inside the Pentagon, and Kuo was connected to spies on the West Coast who were giving up U.S. space and naval technology. Presumably, the U.S. is doing the same kind of spying in China, but Michelle Van Cleve says America has so much more to lose.
I think we're a real candy store for the Chinese and for others in terms of technology and commercial products, rather proprietary information, and so we will always be the principal target for them.
What is the most serious damage that Chinese espionage has done to the United States?
It's the totality of the collection effort. Take a case like this, or cases like this, traditional espionage, penetration of the interior, couple that with industrial and economic collection, couple that with cyber. It greatly concerns me. It greatly concerns me.
Well, I hope this all works out. I mean, you are helping me a lot here, but I don't want anyone to know about our relationship or anything, because she get me in a lot of trouble.
Bergersen kept saying, I could go to jail, and both men did. In 2008, prosecutors showed them this tape, and they pled guilty. Bergersen got almost 5 years for communicating national defense information. Kuo, a naturalized American citizen, is in a U.S. prison doing 15 years for espionage. Prison may have been the best option Bergersen had, because after he left the car, Kuo pulled out his own tape recorder. We'll never know why he taped the damning conversation, but it is classic spycraft to use blackmail to get at ever deeper and deeper secrets.